Now here the question is, two sequences xn and yn, they are defined inductively by x1 equals 1 by 2 and y1 equals 1, where xn is under root of xn minus 1 into yn minus 1 and 1 upon yn equals 1 by 2 1 upon xn plus 1 upon yn minus 1. Now we need to prove that xn minus 1 will be less than xn, which is less than yn, and it will be less than yn minus 1, and we have to deduce that both the sequences converge to the same limit L, where the value of L, it lies between 1 by 2 and 1. Now what we'll do is, in the first part, we'll prove that xn is less than yn using principle of mathematical induction. Now we'll prove it for n equals 1. For n equals 1, x1 is 1 by 2 and y1 is 1, that is x1 is less than y1, that means p1 is true. Now we'll assume let pk be true, which simply means xk will be less than yk. Now using this relation we can write xk plus 1, it is equal to under root of xk into yk, that is xk plus 1 is geometric mean between xk and yk. That means xk plus 1, it will lie between xk and yk. Now from this one we can write 1 upon yk plus 1 equals 1 by 2 1 upon xk plus 1 plus 1 upon yk, that is yk plus 1, it is harmonic mean between xk plus 1 and yk, that is yk plus 1 will lie between xk plus 1 and yk. So we can write xk is less than xk plus 1 will be less than yk plus 1 and will be less than yk. Now from this we can say p k plus 1 is true. That means from mathematical induction we can say that xn will be less than yn, and if we use this entire result we can simply write xn will be less than xn plus 1 will be less than yn plus 1 and will be less than yn, or in other words we can write xn minus 1 will be less than xn, which is less than yn, which is less than yn minus 1, and this is what we need to prove. Now from this result we can write x1 is less than x2 is less than x3 and it is less than xn minus 1 and it will be less than xn, which is less than yn minus 1, less than yn minus 2 and less than y1. Now the value of x1 is 1 by 2 and value of y1 is 1. So both the sequences xn and yn, they are bounded sequence. The sequence x, it is bounded and it is monotonic increasing, whereas the sequence yn, it is bounded and it is monotonic decreasing sequence. Now both the sequences xn and yn, they are bounded and they are monotonic. Thus both the sequences, they'll converge. Suppose sequence xn, it converges to L1 and sequence yn, it converges to L2, and from here we can write L1 equals under root L1 into L2, and from here we can write 1 upon L2 equals 1 by 2 1 upon L1 plus 1 upon L2. Now from here we can write L1 equals L2. So both the sequences, they'll converge to the same limit, say L, and since we have already proved that both the sequences, they are bounded between 1 by 2 and 1, the limiting value of these sequences, it will lie between 1 by 2 and 1, and that is the answer to this question.